Good evening, VV Nation, and welcome to the channel. My name is Glenn, Senior Stock Market Strategist for VectorVest. Glad to be here, glad to have you here, and guess what? This video is not about quantum. Man, quantum videos are killing it on the channel, and I'd like to say thank you so much for supporting the channel about a topic that's really hot. But tonight, we're going to take it back a little bit. We're going to talk about a topic that is still very important and very concerning to a lot of investors in the market. It's called de-dollarization. I've done a video on it in the past, and it did pretty well. But I think that as we get into this new administration with a lot of tariffs pretty much coming, a lot of sanctions pretty much coming, what's going to happen to the power of the dollar, and will it be as strong as it is now going forward? So we are going to talk about the BRICS, what it's all about, and the de-dollarization. How powerful is the dollar, and how long can it stay that powerful? It is the reserve currency worldwide. Will it still hold that, or will the BRICS currency knock it off the stage? All right, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's all start about the stories. All right, de-dollarization, what it is, and is it happening? De-dollarization describes the process of moving away from the world's reliance on the U.S. dollar as the chief reserve currency. The dollar has remained the primary reserve currency and conduit for international business ever since the United States emerged as the world's top economic power following World War II. But questions often emerge about whether the dollar can sustain its leadership, and that's why this is so important. So key takeaways: de-dollarization refers to the shrinking of the influence of the U.S. dollar. Even as countries aim to reduce their dependency, the dollar is still by far the most widely held reserve currency and remains essential for conducting international business, and that's what it's all about. All right, so now let's talk about the things that will affect the dollar going forward. Why are people trying to move away from the dollar? Because what we do as a major power in the world, we put sanctions on countries when they don't do things the right way. And I think these countries, as we all know, are getting pissed off about that, saying, you can't dictate to me what I do or don't do. So if you want to do that, we're going to move to a different currency so that the countries under that currency, which is the BRICS currency, can do business amongst themselves. But I think what they do is, if even in doing that, the big power, the world's big power is us. So they need to rely on us. And if it's the reserve currency, they need to stick with it, right? So is there a threat to the dollar from the new BRICS currency? BRICS, by the way, stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. That's what makes up this. Interestingly enough, India has recently dropped out. I'm going to tell you why in a moment. And Russia is getting less and less play in the BRICS because of the war in Ukraine. First off, what is BRICS? The original BRICS countries began in a somewhat informal block of large emerging market economies. That's the key word there, emerging market economies. But the interesting thing, my take on this, is that a lot of the countries that are in the BRICS bloc are unstable, but they're still emerging, growing companies. What is the news of the BRICS currency? The latest bout of concern about the U.S. dollar emerged because a number of the BRICS countries are considering a plan to create a new reserve currency that they could use for international trade. Currently, many of these countries, even those that are perennial international rivals of the U.S., are forced to use the dollar to trade internationally. Will this currency actually materialize? It's not a foregone conclusion that the countries involved can pull this off. Although the countries have similar interests and may like the idea of an international currency over which they have more control. In practice, they have different economies, and that's key. They all have different economies, and it's tough for different economies to come together to formally agree on all of the things that we needed, that they're going to need for a new currency. How would the BRICS currency affect the U.S. dollar? BRICS nations, originally composed of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, are looking to establish a new reserve currency backed by a basket of their respective currencies. How strong are those currencies? Think about that. The potential BRICS currency would allow these nations to assert their economic independence while competing with the existing international financial system. Central to this going on, the U.S. trade war with China, as well as U.S. sanctions on China and Russia. Should the BRICS nations establish a new currency, it would likely significantly impact the U.S. dollar, potentially leading to a decline in demand, or what's known as de-dollarization. All right. Now, BRICS countries are now starting to incorporate cryptocurrency, which could be a big reason why crypto has recently been on a rise. It got above 107, now back down to 82. It's very cyclical, but could the BRICS countries moving over into cryptocurrency affect what's going on with crypto and the dollar? Is Bitcoin a viable option to evade sanctions? Yes. Bitcoin is being promoted by BRICS leaders as a solution to evade Western sanctions. Russian miners could market Bitcoin to international customers who would then use it for imports, thus bypassing sanctions. I wonder how that's really going to truly work out. Now, again, with the move up and down, the volatile moves up and down, or cyclical moves up and down with crypto, could this be a good thing? Could this be a bad thing? Will it really work? What does the BRICS pay? Just like we have Apple Pay, we have PayPal. It's a way of conducting business outside of the dollar. Now, BRICS cryptocurrency, exploring the impact of potential challenges to crypto. The BRICS countries are characterized by their large populations, significant land masses, and abundant natural resources. Do you know China is grabbing up as much gold as it possibly can, because gold is money. Gold is a physical asset. It's got a lot of value to it. And these countries are grabbing up lots and lots of gold. They still don't have as much gold as we do, which still keeps us as the perennial currency across the globe. They also share certain features such as rapid economic growth, increasing influence on regional and global affairs, and a desire for more excellent international representation. Next story, pros and cons. Now, guess what? I went to see if there were BRICS ETFs. How many of you knew that there were BRICS ETFs? Type BRICS or type BRICS no if you didn't know that there were ETFs for BRICS. Type BRICS if you knew that there were ETFs to trade the BRICS countries or currency, or type BRICS no if you didn't know. So there's a couple of different ETFs. What are BRICS ETFs? Invest in again, key word here, emerging markets. Now, this is one that looks at Brazil, China, Egypt, Ethiopia, India, Iran, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, and the UAE. It's a lot of emerging countries in one ETF. We're going to talk about those in a second. And last but not least, some of those ETFs are here. BKF, which looks at Brazil, India, and China, capturing their market performance through the MSCI BIC index. Down below, there's another one for South Africa, EZA. Going down a little bit further, KSA for the UAE and UAE as well. So there are ways, if you want to trade this, if you think that the BRICS is going to be a mainstay that's going to overcome the dollar, I don't think that it does, and I'll explain to you why in a second. All right, let's get into the software for a second. And I'm going to show you, this is my watch list of whether it's the dollar or BRICS-related ETFs. UAE for the United Arabs, the DXY and UUP for the dollar, KSA for South Africa. BKF looks at all of them in one indicator or one ETF, BKF, and then we have EZA again for South Africa. I'm going to do something else. So now, for those of you who are saying, well, you know, this is big news that it's really going to affect the dollar, I'm looking at a 10-year performance graph on the DXY and UUP. UUP is in white. The DXY for the dollar index is in green. we're at a 10, close to a 10-year high. Looking at the most recent, the dollar did fall off. UUP did fall off a little bit, but look at the performance over the last 10 years. Now, let's add the UAE. Interesting. There it is, United Arab countries, not nearly doing as well as the dollar. Let's go look at South Africa, KSA. Wow, interesting. KSA ETF looks at South Africa is actually doing better. And look at that run up, doing better as an emerging country in the BRICS bloc. Is up there higher than the dollar. Okay, interesting. That's one country. Looking at BKF, look at that run up on there as well. Look at it now. And we're currently higher than they are right now in EZA. Wow. South Africa as well, way below the dollar. So there's only one, oops, not that one. KSA for South Africa is higher currently over the last 10 years than the dollar, but that's only one in that block. Notice that China, Russia, the bigger names are not nearly on the BRICS block doing as well as the dollar. All right, let me minimize this. So in conclusion, the dollar is still the preeminent reserve currency globally. BRICS is trying to make some moves, but I think a couple of things are going to hurt the BRICS. Well, at least one, and it's going to be crypto. And if more and more of these countries move more into crypto, I think that the BRICS bloc may break up. We'll see. And then what's going to spur them to want to do better is going to be tariffs. With the upcoming administration putting tariffs on countries like China, like Russia, they're just going to get more of a fire beneath them to want to push this forward, but they're going to have to look out for crypto. So in conclusion, I still think that the dollar's got a long way to go. Is it becoming de-dollar? Is it becoming less valuable? As you saw on the performance graph, the dollar by far is doing better. It is the reserve currency. It will be for a while, but I am keeping my eye on the BRICS bloc to see if they can make any advances to get, and they are getting more and more people wanting to get involved with them. You know, it grew from just Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and more countries that we do business with and we can put sanctions on them, trying to move into this idea of the BRICS bloc. Is it going to be enough to overcome the dollar at this particular point in time? No. For the next decade, probably no. For the next couple of decades, probably no. But at some point in time, if they can really grab traction and get more preeminent countries in the bloc, could they make some noise? At some point in time, yes, but not now. Folks, thank you for joining me for this video this evening. I will be tracking this a little closer in 2025. If you like what you saw today, hit the like button, share this, because this is a very important topic that a lot of people keep talking to me about. What about the BRICS? What about the BRICS? What about the BRICS? Hopefully, I've given some understanding as to what's going on and how the dollar is going to stand up against it for a long time to come. Folks, this video is over. Till the next time. See ya. Hey VV Nation, that time of the year is coming up again, where we kick off the year with our Tampa 2-day event. It's going to be live January 10th and 11th, and you know something, if you can't be there live, it's okay, because you can join the live stream for absolutely free. Go to www.vectorvest.com/stream to register for the live event to stream it. I will be the host for your event, but we're going to have Steve Chappell, Jerry D'Ambrosio, Jim Penna. It's going to be an awesome event.